In this video, we're going now to apply the normal distribution to certain problems and using Excel to compute for the problems that we would need. Just some rounding off rules. Values referring to people or objects should be whole numbers, of course. Values referring to money are 2 decimal places for the centavos. Values referring to probabilities are 4 decimal places or 2 decimal places if it's in percent. So those are some of the rounding off rules. Further, let us have this illustration. When Excel looks for the probabilities, it considers something. We actually encountered it before, but we just did not focus it on the binomial distribution. So let me just draw. Please assume that it's a normal curve, although it doesn't look like it. Now, as we all know, we're going to use the standard normal distribution, and Excel also uses that so that it would easily compute for the probabilities. Now, most of the time, if not all the time, probabilities concerning the normal distribution would be something like in symbols x is less than or equal to a certain value. And why is that? Because if this is our mean, and if this certain value x, what Excel computes and what we usually compute even in the manual computation would be the probability to the left of that specific number. Meaning, what's the probability that we will get that number or less that number? So say for example, we have x equals 89. What's the probability that you will get a score of 89 or even lower? So you can get 1 or 2, but that's the probability of getting a score of 1 up until the score of 89. So that's what we would usually do. And this is again what we call our cumulative probability, which later on will be very vital in analyzing our problems. So let's have this example. The average annual salary for all US teachers is $47,750, and assume that the distribution is normal and the standard deviation is $5,680. Find the probability that a randomly selected teacher earns based on the following. So the first thing to do is we would need to encode it in our Excel so that we would be able to see the values. So here we are in Excel. I kind of enlarged it, and as you can see, we encode here the mean, standard deviation, and the first letter that we have to solve. We are asked what is the probability that a teacher's salary is in between 35,000 to 45,000. Now, let us also analyze it first before we compute it using Excel. So to analyze it, most of the time when we analyze normal distributions, it's quite better if we draw the normal curve. So it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect, but if you want it to be, there are programs there in the internet that can make your drawing normal or draw the normal curve. And it says that this specific mean is 47,750 and the standard deviation is 5,680. But what we're looking for is the probability or the chance that the teacher's salary is between 35,000 and 45,000. So if we're going to see in the normal distribution, 35,000 is on the left of 47,750. So is 45,000, probably around this one. So what we're looking for actually is the probability that along that a lot of distributed salaries, the salary that we're looking for is in between those numbers and within this specific shaded area. So what we're looking for is the probability that this shaded area will happen, or that's the area or the probability that we're actually looking for. However, like what we've told you a while ago, the probability that Excel would usually compute would be this. Let us change color first. It would only compute the probability from the left of 45,000, which I am now shading in blue, and then the probability of 35,000, which I am now shading in red. if we go to extend it a little bit there. So, if you're going to notice, the probability that Excel can only give us is the one in blue and the one in red. How should we now get the probability that we need, which is in color black? What do you notice in the illustration here below? If you're going to notice, the blue one here, and this is the red one here. But what we want is this specific area. So therefore, from the long one, which is the blue, we will remove the one which is red. Therefore, what we need to do here is to subtract the probability of getting 45,000, less than 45,000, so we minus it with the probability that you get 35,000. Because again, the reason why we did that is because Excel and even in manual computation, we only get the probability from the left. That means illustrated here, or it's less than. So we would need now to subtract this area, the one in red, from the one in blue so that we can only get what we need, which is the area in black. This kind of analysis would be needed even more as we go along some problems. So that is only the first step. We analyze the problem into how we're going to do it because again, Excel rather only gives the probability to the left of a given value. So now, how do we do it in Excel? Let's look at it in the next video.